Thank you for joining us for the 2-minute drills. I'm Aram Talegian, San Gabriel Valley Newspaper Group football writer, joined by San Gabriel Valley Tribune Prep Sports editor Fred J. Robledo. Freddie, league play has arrived in certain places. Nowhere is it going to be more bigger than in the Hacienda League, where this week, Bonita, traveling down the road to play Diamond Ranch at Ganesha High School on Friday night. The Panthers, 1-3 so far this season, Diamond Ranch. The Bearcats are 2-2 so far. But as we get into this matchup, Fred, and you look at the teams these two teams have played. First of all, Bonita is the only team to beat San Dimas. How good does that look now? The record of the teams that they lost to, Claremont and help me out here, Lucerna, are a combined 7-1.
Did a lot of helping out there.
Yeah, really. Not fast enough. Diamond Ranch, combined record of the teams they lost to, 9-2.
Yeah, well, that's not surprising. I mean, that's what Diamond Ranch has done over the years, and we've seen them have these starts, come back in league and do well. Listen, I think the Hacienda is one of those leagues. It's really hard to tell right now, Aram. Even West Covina, the defending champion, they've had 3 games now that could have easily gone the other way. You mentioned Bonita. They're a team that could be 4-0 if not for some luck. They lost 2 really close games, one to Claremont, and Diamond Ranch beating Chafee. With Diamond Bar playing well, with Los Altos 4-0, I think the Hacienda is a lot more intriguing than it was last year. I mean, last year we had West Covina, I thought was a heavy favorite, and Bonita. They just had one of those 2 great teams that year. Bonita, their great senior class. I don't think any of them are that strong as they were last year. I don't think West Covina even is as good as they were last year. They're close, but not quite there. Bonita, certainly there's a little drop-off. And it's just really hard to tell. Like with Diamond Ranch, with the teams they've played, where are they now in the Hacienda League fits? I remember last year going into the Diamond Ranch thinking Diamond Bar had played a pretty good non-league, and
they were
4-0. And I was kind of wondering what's going on with Diamond Ranch. I know they've had these starts, but you get to the game and Diamond Ranch just blows them out. So I won't be surprised. And Diamond Ranch played that close game with Damien earlier in the year that they could have won that final drive.
Right, I was there.
And Damien, I've seen them the last 2 weeks. They're an improving team. So it's really the Hacienda is an any given Friday type of scenario where I think these teams are capable of knocking each other off. And I'm really curious to see how this one plays out.
Well, fortunately, Fred, I've had a chance to see a lot of these teams. I've seen West Covina, I've seen Bonita, I've seen Roland, I've seen Diamond Ranch. I have a pretty good idea of the athletes on each team, and while West Covina still looks like they're the best team in the league, what struck me most about Diamond Ranch is they still have guys. They may not be as explosive on offense this year, and they're probably playing things a little more conservative, but certainly defensively, they're a very, very good team defensively, and they have talent there.
Yeah.
And man, we're heading into the danger zone when you talk about Roddy Layton, man.
Yeah.
This is the time of year where his teams come alive.
He doesn't worry about these kind of starts when they have it like that. He's always planned for league. He's going to schedule really tough. If they win those games, they win those games. If not, he always feels like once they get to league, there's nothing that they haven't seen before. He's always played it that way. He's not afraid of going 0-4. They rode this kind of system all the way to 2 championship games a couple years back where they started bad. You're right, this is nothing new for them. But I will say, when you talk about playmakers, on both teams, I think Garrett Hareen is probably the best playmaker on either side. He had 4 touchdowns in the last game, and he's one of those guys I saw in the San Dimas game. He's spectacular. He can change a game, Aram, at receiver. I mean, he can do things that a lot of guys can't do.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that Garrett Hareen, man. I mean, really, this may sound crazy, but in a valley chock full of fantastic receivers. I'm not just talking our area, but the Tribune, the Star News area as well, and even down in Whittier. I think Harine might be the best of all of them. When you combine his size, his speed, his
great hands too.
Yeah, he's just outstanding. Let's get into predictions for this game, Fred. Who do you got, man? Is Diamond Ranch dangerous enough to pull off the upset?
I'm going to go with Bonita just because like I said, in my mind, they're a team that could very easily be 4-0. Sometimes I don't look at the records. I look at how they lost those games, how they won those games, and they've been right there. Although that Lucerna game, when you see what La Mirada did to them that last week, you kind of wonder.
Yeah, but Bonita was shorthanded for that game.
Okay. And the Claremont, hanging tough with Claremont 18.
They were shorthanded for that game too.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's yeah, they've had excuses in those games and they lost them by a combined 4 points.
But everyone has excuses this time. Bishop Amata's losing a couple guys.
Yeah.
Charter Oak. Everyone's missing some guys here. There, people get banged up the first 4 weeks of the season. And you mentioned that very first week of the season, Bonita against San Dimas. It's just how things have changed week to week. How teams improve. We talked about that. Baldwin Park. Look at them from the beginning of the year until right now. Teams. San Dimas. How they rebounded from that game. So I think we're getting closer and closer as we get into week 4 or 5, really finding out what these teams are about. And for both of these teams, this is a really important game because I think the winner here is going to have the real shot at West Covina or even Los Altos down the line.
Yeah, the loser here puts themselves under some serious pressure with games against Los Altos and West Covina still to come.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Bonita as well, Fred. I think this is going to be a real good defensive struggle. It wouldn't surprise me if either team won, but I'm going to lean with Bonita just because I trust their playmakers a little bit better than Diamond Ranch's.
Yeah.
And we talked about Garrett Ryan. Diamond Ranch is a stud receiver itself, and Andrew Fisher. The question is whether they can get him the ball.
And every year these games are good too. These two teams play every year.
It wasn't really last year. I mean, Bonita blew them out, but that was right after the West
Yeah.
Covina loss, and they were a changed team. So, hey, there's a lot on the line in this game. I mean, you don't want to start off 0-1 in league, and if you do get that jump on being 1-0, it sets you up nicely. Get out to that game at Ganesha on Friday night. I'll be there. It's the game of the week for the Tribune. Should be very exciting. Bonita visiting Diamond Ranch, Hacienda League opener. Enjoy it.